Okay, y'all, let's get right into this messy craziness. So Joycelyn, whatever her name is, Joycelyn Savage is trying to get paid, okay? Because the well has run dry and it don't look like R. Kelly is coming, home anytime soon. So she's trying to get some coins, okay? So basically, Joycelyn is opening up and trying to tell her story and, about her relationship with R. Kelly. She even said that he promised that he would make her the next Aaliyah. Woo, child, the lie. So you mean to tell me that somebody that sounds like this,
with his words killing me softly, with his song I heard he sang a good song, telling my whole life, with his words killing me softly, with his song.
okay, now let's keep it real. Let's keep it honest. That was bad, okay? That was not good. Now, she's not exactly tone deaf, but that ain't it, okay? She ain't got the voice. He was definitely trying to get in your pants because he knew that wasn't it, okay, sis? Now, I'm not saying that Aaliyah was the greatest singer. She wasn't like a Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston, but she was definitely talented and had a beautiful voice. But that Joycelyn Savage stuff, no boo. That just wasn't it, sis. Now, if we was talking about Azriel, Clary, then maybe I could see it, because that girl can sing, okay? Check this out.
That night I had to call you. I was rapping till the sun came up. Love's too weak to define just what you mean to me. When we be making love, I only hear the sounds. Heavenly angels crying up above, tears of joy pouring down on us. You're my heart. You don't know what you do to me. You are my heart, mine. I truly adore you. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, now that's how you do it. That's how you sing. Now that, if he would have said, Azriel, I'm gonna make you the next Aaliyah, I could believe that one, okay? But back to the subject that we're here for. So basically, Joycelyn Savage has created a social media page, with Instagram, and she plans on basically telling her story, but for some coins. Yeah, she wants y'all to pay to hear her story, okay? And when y'all look at this bio of lies, okay, anybody just be putting stuff in their bio these days. She's talking about she an actress. Girl, where did you act besides, R. Kelly's basement or his bedroom? Where did you model at besides R. Kelly's hallway inside his house? Girl, please just stop while you ahead of yourself, sis, okay? But now she's saying, that there's something I need to reveal, something I should have talked about a long time ago. This is my story, and her caption is, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, I don't mean to bash the girl. That's not the point of this video. I don't mean to discredit her for anything that she's went through either. However, it's just crazy to me how for all these years you talked bad about your parents or anybody who was trying to help you. You kept claiming you was happy, you was okay, you were living good, and that people should leave you alone. But now that he's facing some real time and it looks like, he's not coming home anytime soon and the money is running dry and it's pretty much gone. Now you want to claim that you were the victim and that everything was all bad and all horrible, but you still want us to pay just to hear your story. But when he was buying you things, and you was out shopping with him, and, TMZ and other places would catch y'all shopping sometimes, you weren't out here trying to sell no stories. You weren't trying to tell us your story at all, whether free or for sale. Period, okay? Girl, I'm not about to pay for this story. We already heard it on the documentary. I'm pretty sure that anything he's done to you, he's already done it to the other girls who've explained this story already on the documentary, or when they was doing that press tour after the documentary aired. You know what I'm saying? You should have jumped on board then, okay? Maybe then we would have paid to hear your story around that time, but not now. So basically how she's trying to sell her story is through Patreon. So if you haven't heard of that, it's basically a site where, you can get subscribers to subscribe to you, and basically they pay a membership every month just to see whatever you post. So it's basically you post whatever you want on your page, and whoever supports you, they'll pay a monthly fee to see it. But anyways, y'all, this is her bio on her Patreon page. It says, "My name is Joycelyn Savage. I am 24 years old. At 23 years old Okay, girl, I'm gonna need you to proofread your stuff before you make it public. I'm just saying. So at 23 years old, it was a breaking point for me. I was forced to do a lot of things. I'm here to tell my story. I will reveal information and secrets I've been sweared to not ever bring to light." Sweared? Okay, sworn? Okay. To not ever bring to light, but I'm willing to risk it all. Okay, girl, risk it, girl. What is you risking? He behind bars and he can't afford for nobody to put a hit on you. So, okay. You're like the 1800 person. Get in line to go ahead and risk it all. But anyways, moving on. She said, "This is my story on Mr. Kelly. Become a patron above and view my story and see what I've been going through these past years." Girl, I am not. No. And so basically you have to subscribe and start your membership and become a patron, and basically, just follow her so that you can read or view anything that she posts on her Patreon page. So if you don't, then you can't view it. It'll stay locked. And as of right now, she has only one post on her page. But since I have not, subscribed or started a membership, which I won't, I can't view it. But I'm sure other people will leak it, so I'm just waiting for it. Screenshots coming soon. But apparently I'm not the only way that feels some type of way about having to pay for this story. People are saying, yeah, I'm convinced you're in it for the money, so we have to pay to hear your story. That's whack. At this point, I feel you should be held accountable as well. I'll wait until someone leaks it. I'm with you, sis. And we must pay for it. Laughing emojis. I'll wait for the Shade Room to post it. Why we gotta pay for it, though? Ugh. Shaking my head. Really? You have to pay? Laughing emoji. Wow. Ain't nobody paying for this, though. Because I sure ain't. You trying to make us buy this so you can give it to R. Kelly? Nope. How are you doing it to save others' lives but wanting them to pay for the info? You're charging people to know your story, and weird choice of song being that he was ever great. Say it again, girl. Lizzo don't want to be up in this. Nope. But anyway, they went on to say, whoever decides to pay, please take screenshots. And they said, ain't nobody paying for this. I'm sorry, this made me laugh so hard because it's true. They said, I'm sure the Fire Stick will get it. LMAO. I'll wait. And then somebody said, girl, bye. You must be broke. And the last comment's kind of hard to see, but it said, you would have did better getting paid from YouTube. Basically suggesting you should have just did a YouTube video about your story and you would have got paid a lot of money off the views instead of the way she's trying to do it now. And it seems like she's finally figuring this out now, because now she's alluding to possibly doing a YouTube video for chapter 4 of her story. And apparently chapter 4 is about how she's saying that she was allegedly pregnant by R. Kelly, and how he made her terminate the pregnancy, and how she kept the first pregnancy test that she ever took. She claimed that the lines just faded out. It looks like it faded so much that it's actually invisible. Now, as of today, she actually posted on her Patreon page. She said that she's been laying off of social media for a bit because celebrities keep messaging her in her inbox. She even hinted that maybe Drake has been messaging her, allegedly sending her nudes. She said that, A lot of celebrities have been messaging me. It's pitiful. She said, especially our black males. You're a Canadian rapper. You have a son, and you're worried about sending your little pink Laffy Taffy in my inbox. But y'all, Drake is not the only celebrity that Joycelyn is calling out and coming after. Recently, Tammy Roman was basically, responding to a post on the Neighborhood Talk 2 Instagram page. Tammy said, so put these thoughts on paper, find a book publisher, let their editors assist and spell check, and then and only then will I be able to mentally digest this. She lost me at flued in and failed in love. Was all I could take. My nosy behind is interested though. And then Young Miami from the City Girls responded to Tammy saying she did not say flued out with the laughing crying emoji. And that's when pretty much Joycelyn came at Young Miami last night when she came out with a new chapter. And basically she said this: these celebrities that are making fun of my grammar, for instance, you mean instance, baby. Instance with the CE, but okay. She said Carisha, which is Young Miami's real name. She said, for instance, Carisha, please don't speak on my grammar when you haven't had a hint since Act Up. Everything is not always a joke. So, shots fired. And the Miami girls ain't never scared of no smoke. Young Miami came back saying, I actually liked her stupid behind. Like, girl, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Y'all know where that's from. She said, I was on your side, PAB. Now, if you don't know what that means, put two and two together. Go Google it on Urban Dictionary or something, okay? But she said, better go the F on. Woo, child. Now, recently, Joycelyn's sister, Jay Savage, took to her Instagram Live to basically clear up some things. She said that, she hopes that the Instagram page and the Patreon page is not, somebody playing behind the accounts just to try to get money and take advantage of the situation. However, she said she does not believe that those accounts are being ran by her sister. She doesn't believe that that's her sister, Joycelyn, at all. And just check out some reasons as to why she doesn't believe that that's her sister.
In my point of view, or if that's what you want to call it, I personally feel like if Joycelyn, which I'm not sure, I don't know if that account is her or not. I'm not aware if that is her account or not. But if that was to be her account, she would have reached out to her family some type of way. She would have messaged me through Instagram or I've reached out to her multiple times. And I gave her my cell number to contact me and everything. But I have not yet received any type of contact from my sister. So therefore, I personally am just as lost as everybody else right now. I'll be very disappointed if the page that is saying that this is Joycelyn is not really true. I'm praying to God is not what I think it is, as in somebody is just playing around on an account and making it seem like it's her when it's not. So, but I just wanted to let everybody know that just in case this Joycelyn Savage page is not her. I am just as clueless as everybody else in this situation. I have no idea what's going on. Usually when someone comes out and speaks something like that or say their life is in danger, they will, contact their family. So I'm praying to God that this is not what I think it is, on somebody just trying to get a check off of my sister's situation. I really pray to God that's not the case. I'm reading the stories on it, and some of it sounds like it could be her, but then she's making all these slick remarks to different types of celebrities and stuff. And it just does not sound like my sister. It sounds like someone is joking to me. It does not sound genuinely like my sister's situation. So I just wanted to make sure I clarify that to everybody.
Now, you guys, just like I told y'all earlier, people have already started leaking her Patreon page stuff that she's been posting. So don't worry, I got y'all. I'm going to read y'all some excerpts from there for free because ain't nobody got time to pay for that. So here we go. She said, a lot of you guys already know how I met Robert at a concert when I was 19 years old. In 2015, I got flued No, child, not flued. Okay, anyway, I got flued out to his concert with one of my closest friends. Robert flew both of us to California to his studio, which was a fun experience, but very mixed emotions, I can admit at the time. He was going to help me pursue my dreams and to become a model and singer. Robert would always look at me in a sexual way the first couple of times we met occasionally. After meeting Robert and getting to know him, he was a really nice guy. I gave him my CD and he listened to it and he loved it. That's where it all began. After a couple of days of discussing my music with Robert, I can tell you that man loves to tell you what he can do for you. We were even in the process of getting me signed. I didn't believe that, but he would say, what? Okay, so I didn't believe that, but he would say it exactly like this: baby girl, you are going to be the next Aaliyah. And I truly loved Aaliyah, so Robert would repeatedly say this to me. There's something about Robert and Aaliyah that I'm going to reveal, which everyone needs to know. As one of his victims, yes, victims, I've seen more and heard more. I had dropped out of college because it was like I had everything I needed. I had money, new clothes every day. It was really a hard decision at the time, but me meeting an artist like Robert at 19 years old, I didn't have nothing to worry about at the time. We also did a couple of songs together in his studio, which he promised me he would release on his platform, which never seen the day of light. Robert told me so many lies that my 19-year-old mind believed every one of them. The year 2015 was the year I can admit I failed. No, not failed. You mean fail. So the year 2015 was the year I can admit I fell in love with Robert because of what he did for me. He was nothing like my past boyfriends. We had breakfast every morning. He took me anywhere I wanted to go. All of this at the age of 19 was something to look forward to hanging out with the R. Kelly, like you wouldn't at the time. Things started to change after a couple of months. I started staying with Robert, but I already knew what was bound to happen because nothing can be so perfect in my world. I think what she was trying to say is that, like, nothing good lasts, to me in my world. I think that's what she was trying to say. Anyway, she said, after these couple of months, Robert started giving me commands, making sure I call him by certain names like master or daddy, which I didn't really care for at the time. But if I wasn't getting paid or pursuing my dream, I would have went home. So here she is admitting that, he was paying her to some extent, whether it was giving her actual cash or money or just, paying for her food, her expensive new clothes, bags, shoes, taking her wherever she wanted to go, basically spoiling her, that if he wasn't doing all these things, she would have went home. So she's admitting that. So that doesn't sound like somebody who was held hostage. Let's keep this in mind, okay? Anyway, moving on. She said, but all of those things didn't stop just yet. But it started getting worse by day because he would raise his voice at me if I didn't call him by those two names. If Robert called me, I would have to reply with yes, daddy, or please, daddy. He was so controlling. Robert liked to manipulate whoever he was in the room with, even down to his own assistant. He didn't care. Everyone was in it for a check, so they didn't care either. Okay, so she's basically saying he treated not only her but other girls, even down to his own staff and assistants badly, but they didn't care as long as they got something out of it, which was usually money. So, okay. Moving on, she said Robert had about a couple of houses where he would travel back and forth, and there were certain rooms I couldn't enter, such as the basement, which made me curious, and it really bothered me not knowing what was behind certain doors. R. Kelly has cameras on every property he owned, and I thought it was just to keep him and his people safe, but no, it was to keep whatever he was hiding protected. Robert always had people, assistants, over his house. Everywhere he'd go, they'd go. They never spoke to me or anything. They just watched me, which was weird to me at the time. I can say I didn't have any type of privacy at all now that I think about it. If I showered, one of the assistants would have to be by the door while I showered. At the moment, I kept thinking to myself, why is all of this happening? Does he think I will run away or go back home? That's exactly what he thought. He didn't want me to leave at all, but I will get into that. I couldn't talk to my parents in private sometimes. I was told what to say on the phone to them. He would always say to me, all this can stop today. You want a career or do you want to live a normal life? Basically trying to make me do what he wanted. And of course I wanted a career in the industry, so that really meant a lot to me, and that's what I was here for. Wait, here for? Does that mean you're presently there? Did you slip up, or is that just a bad grammar? I don't know. Because if you were no longer in that situation, you would have said that was what I was there for, kind of like past tense. But anyway, moving forward. Okay, now going into the next chapter, she said, do you love me or do you want to hurt me? She said, sorry for the delay. I was really hesitant to post part 2 because of the backlash from part 1. It just made me feel vulnerable. But she went on to say, after months of staying with Robert, as I said previously in my last chapter called Where It All Started, things tend to get worse. It was nights, and I mean every night, that Robert would get drunk. And that's where most of his anger came from. He told me I couldn't do certain stuff without him knowing first or his assistant. I started to slip into a depression because it was days I just wanted to get a breath of fresh air, smell flowers, go shopping, see my family, but it was just stripped away from me. He cut my phone off because I spoke to my friends or family without him knowing, and that's when I realized something isn't right. I didn't know if this was the same Robert I met. I kept thinking to myself, he just wants me to be safe. He wants the best for me. He thinks someone is going to take me away from him. But it was me being delusional. Why would someone claim to love me and keep me locked up like some damn animal? All of that shopping and taking me everywhere to my favorite stores stopped around February 2016. I remember one incident very vividly. We were in the house and I called him to ask him could he bring me some food, but I said, hey babe, instead of the 2 names I was forced to call him. He grabbed me and choked me until I blacked out. I had bruises around my neck and I was told by him to wear turtlenecks or scarf to cover them up whenever he would take me out in public. I was frightened to tell anyone about this because of what he may do next. His assistant didn't even care, and especially the other girls, they were all in it for the money as well. Robert would bring different girls home that stayed just like me, and they were definitely younger than me. I couldn't talk to the girls he brought home. I noticed I had a certain amount of time with Robert than the other girls in the house. I couldn't talk to any of them until it was my time. I had to wait in my room until Rob was ready for me or his assistant will come and get me. I was forced to come out of my room. Some days I didn't feel like being Robert's, intimate rag or punching bag. This stuff was abusive. The relationship just couldn't get any worse, and all of the talk about my career went straight down the drain. And she said, side note, I know I'm not very good with my grammar. I'm planning on going back to school once I get my mindset on the right track. I've learned to not care about what other people say about me these past couple of years. If you don't support my story, then why are you here? Keep the negativity away. I've been through so much and witnessed things no one has. These celebrities that make fun of my grammar, for instance, for instance with the CE girl. Anyway, Carisha, please don't speak on my grammar when you haven't had a hit since Act Up. Everything is not always a joke. And for those of you who don't know, Carisha is actually the first government name of Young Miami from the City Girls. So that's what she was referring to. Okay, and in the next chapter, it's called When I Found Out That. So she said, disclaimer, this was my first time taking a pregnancy test. I've saved it to show proof, but the lines are fading. This is the only post I have of proof. She said, there were nights where I couldn't sleep. I cried myself to sleep. Why did I get myself into this mess? Some of you may think, why wouldn't I just run away? I signed the papers. I was basically signed to him. I was young. I didn't know a thing I was getting myself into. My parents didn't really seem to care. If anyone offered you millions of dollars and asked you to be with them, you do it. Not exactly. Yes, you can say, never say what you would or wouldn't do until you're in that situation. True. But, if you just have common sense and your parents or grandparents, raised you right and you just value yourself a lot more than money, then no, baby girl, you wouldn't. But anyways, moving forward, she said, he threatened me and told me that if I left, that he would make sure nobody has me. If he couldn't have me, I was scared. Imagine you being in my position, but of course, you are quick to judge because you aren't in my position. Imagine having a gun to your head while all of this is going down. Girl, ain't no gun to your head because you've already exposed yourself saying that you stayed. You made the decision to stay because he was taking care of you and giving you money and living a lifestyle that you wanted to live, so there was no gun to your head. Okay, now moving on. She said, If I did try to leave, which I did attempt and got caught numerous times, I wouldn't eat some days. I had to find ways to make sure I was clean because of not being able to take showers when I wanted to. Finding ways to even stop blood from dripping down my legs because he wouldn't even give me pads. So I guess when she was on her period or her cycle, out of punishment or spite, he would not allow her to clean herself or take showers or, use the necessities that she needed to use to prevent the blood from dripping. That's disgusting. Girl, no. Then moving forward, she said, the only time he would care for me is when the media is making him seem bad and saying that I was kept for a hostage. When those stories broke out about me, he would try to cover it up by going out in public to make everything seem okay, but it wasn't. In the videos I had to do for TMZ, they were telling me what to say. I was so nervous. What you see in any of my interviews is just a split second of what we are allowed to speak on. She went on to say his assistant would starve me for days at a time until I learned it right, word for word. When I did the TMZ video, which his assistant interviewed me, you can see I was scared and I was using my hands. And this is the interview she's talking about that she did with TMZ. She was using her hands a lot. She kept stuttering. She seemed nervous. She kept looking up, kind of like she was looking for, the approval of what to say or not to say or what to answer or not to answer. And then if you look in her shirt, you can see a shadow towards the end of the video. Tell her no, don't answer that pretty much, with the signal. I'm going to show y'all the signal I'm talking about, but just look in her shirt. See? Right there. Anyways, y'all, she went on to say I was forced to make videos. I didn't get as much freedom, but he would reward me for doing stuff he wanted. A list of things he would do for me as a reward was new clothes, new shoes, a meal, rings, and sex. Robert always had a fetish for urinating on his girls or women. While he would urinate on us, he would make us swallow his urine, and if we threw up his urine, it would turn into feces. Gross. Nah, I'm sorry. My self-worth is way more than that. Anyway, she said, I've been urinated on numerous of times. I really didn't want to say this, but the truth needs to be heard. There were times Rob wanted to have intercourse with me with a strap on. He was always into role play. Now, this entire section that I'm about to read now makes me believe that she was not a victim. She was just a willing participant at this point. She says, I started feeling sick throughout the end of 2016, and I did hear rumors around this time that he had herpes. This made me want to protect myself from him, and if I did anything with Robert, I told him I wanted a condom. So I assumed that he passed it to me, and I didn't know how I was going to explain it to him. Everything was forced. I didn't want to do anything with Robert, and he knew it. Condoms broke every time, and I was just praying I wouldn't get pregnant by this monster. I started noticing that my period hadn't come for weeks. That's when I realized I was pregnant by this monster. I told him that I was pregnant. He made me take a DNA test, and I was. She said, when I found out that I was pregnant with his child, I had very mixed emotions, and I didn't want any babies with him at all. Eventually, I ended up terminating the pregnancy, and I was forced to get the surgery done at his house. Wow. I've never had surgery done in my life, so that was really shocking and scary for me. He didn't want me going to the hospital because the news would break out. I was pregnant not only once, but twice. I got pregnant again in 2018. It's scary having your first child and terminating it because of some monster that kept me as a prisoner. After terminating the pregnancy, Robert decided to gift me with getting my breast done. Truth be told, and I guess we have to wait for the next story to appear. But y'all, this is all crazy. After reading all this, I now feel and think that Joycelyn, as well as a lot of the other girls most likely, were not victims. They knew better, but because they were living the lifestyle that they wanted, at least as far as getting gifts or jewelry, being able to be accessible to a lot of things that they normally wouldn't, they decided to, endure the treatment for as long as they could, or until the money ran out, which is all sad to me, really, because that means that they really didn't think much of themselves and their worth. That's the saddest part of it all. So that part right there where she was talking about how she terminated 2 pregnancies and continued to still take the treatment and live with him all because she wanted money is sad and pathetic to me and disgusting. Also, not only that part, but the part where she said, and if I wasn't getting paid or pursuing my dream, I would have went home. That let me know right there, ladies and gentlemen, she was not a victim. She was a willing participant. And therefore, I really can't feel too bad for her. Yes, it sucks. Nobody should be treated like she was treated. However, you were a willing participant pretty much. And you've said it yourself because you was getting paid. This is all too sad, and I'm kind of done with this. I really don't need to hear too much more from her after this, because now we all know, and it's all in the open, she was not a victim. I'm going to say this in conclusion of the video. I think he does deserve time for allegedly the intercourse that he had with the underage minors over the past couple of decades. But as far as these grown women that were over the age of 18... I honestly don't think that, that needs to be considered in his trial. Now, granted, what he did to them allegedly was wrong. Nobody, whether you are of age or underage, nothing like that should happen to you. Nobody should endure that. However, people that were of age and had common sense that this was wrong and had a genuine choice of what to do or not to do, no, I don't think that he should be considered in trial for those things, just for the minors that were underage, and that's it. But anyways, y'all, there was a video I came across about Monica speaking on the situation, and she said exactly what I want to tell y'all. So this is what I'm gonna leave y'all with, so check it out.
You've known R. Kelly over the years. What do you think about everything that's going down now? He's being held accountable. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that anything you do, you'll have to be held accountable. Doesn't matter if it's now or later. So, it doesn't take away the fact that he shaped and molded a lot of who we listen to now. But he has to pay the price for all that he's done. There's no way around it. It is just the way, it's atmosphere. Whatever you put out in the atmosphere, it's coming back. It could be 20 minutes or 20 years. It is that. So, I feel like we make our beds, we have to lie in them. And when children come into play, I always, especially even before being a mom, let me tell you something. I was a 13-year-old girl that full-grown men were always after.
Yeah.
Thank God for my ability to be so outspoken, because I didn't play the radio. But not every young girl is equipped with that. Not every young girl is able to understand that a person's celebrity should not allow them to be able to tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to go, and whatever comes of it, that is what was written for him, And so I always, you can't separate the persona and the music and all of that stuff, but I know that a lot of my generation of R&B music, they were raised by him musically.
Yeah.
Period. Musically. Not the other stuff. So he's having to face the fate that he created.
Well, that's it on this video, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if that's the correct word for this type of video right here, but yeah, I hope you guys found it informative. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below in the comment section. I would really like to see what you guys are thinking about the situation. Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up if you at least thought it was informative or you liked it and enjoyed it. Make sure you spread it, on your Instagram, Twitters, and Facebooks, or wherever you would like it to be seen. Also, make sure that you just subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell button down below so you can stay updated with all my new videos that I upload. And once again, thank you so much for viewing the video and all my videos on my channel. Thank you for your support, and I love you guys so much. And until next time, peace.